Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another week of me trying to be profitable and earn a payout. This week was really good for me, as you could probably tell from the thumbnail, as I took some really good trades and just overall played my cards right. Didn't end up taking that many setups, but those setups that I did take played out really well, and I think that the improvement was pretty drastic. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into this week's trades. Alright, going into this week, we seem to be accumulating after hitting this 1 hour order block. Price did inverse this 1 hour fair value gap, and we had this untapped 4 hour order block below, which could be a great target, and I'll wait to see how price continues to develop for this. Looking at the low time frame, we see this accumulation a lot better, with price creating a 15-minute order block most recently. We're still within this accumulation range, so I do want to see a breakout before going for the setup. Going into this trade, this setup was really clean, as we did nicely form this new 5-minute order block. We ended up continuing to retest the 5-minute order block, and initially I wanted to see price hit the golden zone, but after seeing price shift higher again on the 1 minute, I decided to enter into the setup, and this trade ran really well. Actually, we hit the TP pretty quickly for a nice one of 300, is what I would have said if there wasn't any fees. And today's setup was honestly really good, and I took that shit without hesitation too, as I remembered that along with the 5-minute order block, we had also respected the 15-minute fair value gap plus order block, which just added so much more substance to the setup. As there still was so much more backing the setup, I took it with confidence, which worked out really well in the end. Part of also why I was feeling a lot better today was that I was more structured and productive from having a good sleep. Since I finally managed to get a good night's rest, I just performed better overall throughout the day, which I'm happy with. So daily goals is just to get a good night's rest every day. Alright, looking at a high time frame today, we seem to be pretty conflicted overall. We had this massive 4-hour order block, which we're currently respecting, though we do have some bearish PD arrays like the 1-hour order block, which we're currently respecting. There's a 1-hour order block below, which could be tapped, though we've already hit it once before. I don't know, I don't really like how conflicted the high time frame is. Looking at the low time frame, we're overall respecting bullish imbalances like the 15-minute order block. We did just also develop a 5-minute order block, which also backs up the long bias, and there were LRLs to bias at too, which could act as clear targets. And for today, I didn't end up finding a setup to take. Nothing really stood out to me as a clear setup, and the initial idea that I had for the setup didn't hold, and price ended up reversing. And since price did switch up to something a bit harder to read for me, I decided to just set out for today. So for today, we seem to be pretty bearish overall, with us having a nice push down, and low term we did have some untapped imbalances here which could act as a target. Perhaps there could be some accumulation into a push up to tap the imbalances. In that case, I can go for a long. Otherwise, I can look for shorts following the high time frame bias. I only want to take setups that are really cool to me though, so I'll watch to see if any do. And I ended up entering into this setup a short while later after the market open, where price stomped down and confirmed the break to the sell side. Since we got a clear break while also respecting a 15-minute fair value gap and 1-minute fair value gap, I decided to enter into the setup without hesitation. And we also retested the 1-minute high-low golden zone, which added more to the bias. And price ended up pushing down really nicely. We were starting to get a bit of a pullback, but price ended up respecting the 1-minute fair value gap and continued lower and hit our target for a nice one of 600. I'm really happy with today. I just did pretty nicely, and I didn't force the setup in the initial direction I was thinking of. I ended up switching up since price confirmed the shift and provided a good setup, which led me to take it. I did switch one thing which I did mention in the live, which is that I did switch from more trades but less leverage to less trades but higher leverage. This was the lesson that I initially learned during the week where I passed my first account, but obviously I was premature and I only learned how to implement this lesson properly this week. Honestly, building that account was just part of the journey, and now I can say that I've definitely grown a lot since then, and I know that I can do better. But yeah, let's move on to tomorrow. Alright, so lastly of the week, we seem to be pretty conflicted, as there was a 4-hour order block we were retesting into for bearish, and we also have a 1-hour order block for bullish. And since these two confluences were pretty conflicted, I wanted to look deeper to see what we could work with. And looking at the low time frame, we were tapping into some bullish confluences right now with a 15 plus 5-minute fair value gap. So right now I want to see the reaction from these imbalances and perhaps look to see how it develops. We could either retest the 4-hour order block deeper or break through these bullish confluences, but we'll just wait to see for now. And I had to wait a long time for the setup. We ended up respecting the 15-minute plus 5-minute fair value gap, and we also respected a new 5-minute order block. Price ended up accumulating above the imbalance, and we got a 1-minute inverse fair value gap from the retest, which made for a good entry. Though for the setup, I had my stop a bit too tight, as price came down pretty quick to stop me out for a loss of 240. And for today, it was pretty annoying being stopped out, in all honesty. I figured pretty late that my stop was too tight for the current market condition, and by that point, all I could do was take the L. I was de-risked, so that was good, but just an overall very rookie mistake by me, so I just gotta be careful for that in the future. All I can do now is just keep moving forward, so that's what I'm gonna do. Alright, so that about does it for this week. As you can see, not many setups that were taken this week. As mentioned earlier, I did make a change where I take less setups and leverage heavy on them, and this was the lesson that I learned from the week that I passed my first account. And honestly, I do think that it took me a while to figure this out because it's been like, what, another 20 weeks? But yeah, it took a fat minute, but it's better late than never, I reckon. I was messing up a lot because I knew that I should be taking less setups, and I also ended up forcing setups quite often due to me adapting more to a higher frequency trading style. And since I made the adjustment, which was also backed up from my backtesting, I've experienced some good results, but it's still too early to say for sure. I'm going to keep going no matter what, and for sure you guys will see me climb to greater heights. And yeah, thank you guys for sticking around and watching the journey. But otherwise, yeah, that's about it for this week. If you guys are interested, check out me and my friends Discord. It's just a chill place for everybody to talk and grow as traders, and we're all on the same path to become the traders that we want to become, so join up if you guys are keen. But yeah, that's about it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.